Long ago, in a quiet Igbo village surrounded by forests and rivers, a woman gave birth to twin girls. The news of the twins spread like wildfire, and the entire village gathered to see them. When the first baby was brought out, the crowd gasped. Her beauty was breathtaking. Smooth skin, sparkling eyes, and a smile that seemed to hold the promise of good fortune. But as the second baby emerged, silence fell. She was different. Her face was scarred, her features uneven, and the midwives exchanged uneasy glances. Whispers rippled through the crowd. How can beauty and ugliness be born from the same womb? The twins were named Adama, meaning beautiful child, and Judika, meaning hold firmly to what is yours. But what the villagers didn't know was that one twin held a dangerous secret, and the other carried a gift that would one day change everything. The twins grew up, but as they did, their differences became impossible to ignore. Adama, with her goddess-like beauty, was adored by all. Wherever she went, villagers showered her with gifts and praises. But behind her angelic smile, Adama hid a heart as cold as stone. She mocked those who couldn't match her beauty, deceived her admirers, and used her charm to manipulate others. Her mother, blinded by pride, encouraged her. "You are destined for greatness," she would say, ignoring the cruelty in her daughter's eyes. Judika, on the other hand, became a shadow. Her scarred face and humble nature made her the target of ridicule. Villagers avoided her. Children teased her, and even her mother seemed ashamed. But Judika never let their words harden her heart. She spent her days helping the needy, fetching water for the elderly, feeding orphans, and tending to the sick. One night, Adama watched her sister give her last yam to a starving boy. She laughed and said, "Why waste your food on others? You will die with nothing." Judika simply smiled and replied, "A heart full of kindness will never go hungry." One day, a mysterious traveler arrived in the village. He was tall, with a commanding presence, and his fine robes shimmered in the sunlight. Word spread quickly. "He's a wealthy trader searching for a wife." Villagers speculated who he would choose, and many pointed to Adama, convinced her beauty would capture his heart. Adama herself was certain. "No man can resist me," she boasted. She spent hours adorning herself with the finest clothes and beads, her reflection her only companion. Judika, however, remained in the background, quietly going about her work. But the traveler was no ordinary man. As the days passed, he watched the twins closely, noticing the way Adama spoke harshly to a beggar, her voice dripping with disdain. He also saw Judika patch up the torn sandals of a stranger, refusing any payment. Appearances can be deceiving, he thought to himself. The traveler decided to test them, but his test would reveal far more than anyone expected. The traveler approached the twins with an unusual request. "Tomorrow," he said, "a stranger will come to your door. Offer him the best you have, for he is a guest sent by fate." Adama frowned but agreed, thinking, "This must be part of his plan to choose me. I'll give just enough to impress him, nothing more." She prepared a basket of scraps, covering it with a cloth to make it look full. Judika, however, took the request seriously. She spent the evening gathering fresh yams, grinding spices, and preparing a pot of stew so fragrant it filled the air with its aroma. She whispered to herself, "A stranger in need deserves kindness, no matter who they are." The next day, the disguised traveler knocked on Adama's door first. She opened it, her face curled in disgust at his ragged appearance. "What do you want?" she snapped. "I am hungry," he said, bowing his head. Adama shoved the basket of scraps into his hands. "Here, take this and leave," she barked, slamming the door before he could thank her. The traveler then knocked on Judika's door. She opened it with a warm smile and said, "Come in, traveler. You must be tired." She served him the best of her meal, offering him water and a place to rest. She even packed extra food for his journey. "May your path be blessed," she said, unaware of the traveler's true identity. That night, the traveler revealed his true self. Adama's face turned pale when she saw him dressed in his fine robes. his commanding voice echoing through the village. "I asked for kindness, but what I received from you was arrogance and pride," he said to Adama. He turned to Njidika and smiled. "But you, Njidika, have a heart more beautiful than any face. Will you do me the honor of being my wife?" The villagers gasped in shock. Adama, who had always been their pride, stood humiliated before them. She tried to plead with the traveler. "I can change," she cried. But he shook his head and said, "True change comes from within, not from words." The villagers, who had once mocked Njidika, now praised her. They apologized for their blindness and began to see her for who she truly was. Njidika and the traveler were married in a grand ceremony, and she became a queen whose kindness transformed the lives of many. As for Adama, her beauty began to fade. Left with only her pride and bitterness, she lived in loneliness, a reminder that true beauty is more than skin deep. And so, my friends, the lesson is clear. A kind heart is the most precious gift anyone can have. But let me ask you, if you were the traveler, what would you have done? Would you have given Adama another chance? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more unforgettable Nigerian tales. Until next time, keep your hearts kind and your spirits strong. Goodbye.